We mentioned Gary Kubiak in the open. He played high school football in the Houston area, then a Texas A&M first-year coach in Houston with the Texans after many years in Denver. And Tony Dungy is in his 5th season with the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts and Adam Vinatieri will kick off. Vinatieri came as a free agent, you may recall, in the offseason from the New England Patriots. The highest paid kicker in the history of the NFL, and Addai Shepard, who was let go by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, picked up and gobbled in by the Texans, will return the kick. Philip Buchanan injured last week, inactive today because of that injury. So the Texans will get the ball first.
You can always feel the excitement in this building. Crowd noise is always a factor here at home with the Colts.
Vinatieri is ready. It's the Colts and the Texans, and here we go from the Rockin' Dome in downtown Indy. It's Shepard from the goal line. They begin at their 25. 0-8 the Texans against Indianapolis. 1st and 10. Play action. Mathis is all over David Carr. Back to the 16-yard line. Couldn't even breathe in a loss of the play on 8. First Colts sack of the season. Mathis led him in sacks a year ago.
Well, one of the things the Texans want to do is start by running the football. They try and come out a little bit of a play action. You're not going to fool Mathis. You have to be able to establish that running game and get those defensive ends to play honest.
2nd down and 18 from the 17. Bad exchange, and Carr has to fall on it, as does Raheem Brock. Was it a fumble? They are discussing it. It is the Colts ball.
Kevin, crowd noise is such an issue here at home, and there's just some miscommunication between Mike Flanagan and David Carr. They're not using a silent snap count. They're actually using a live cadence, and it looks to me like the two of them just were not on the same page.
A horrible way to begin for the Houston Texans, and the Colts, who are not a great red zone team to begin with, have it at the 16-yard line.
That was a point of emphasis in the offseason. They were not good last week. 0 for 2 in the red zone versus the Giants.
So our first look at Peyton Manning as the crowd really simmers down and very quiet inside the dome. Dominique Rhodes. And tackled by Lewis Sanders, who is taking the place of Fagans. It's a gain of 4, and he's by the 12-yard line.
You know, when you talk to the Colts this week, they were concerned about the lack of productivity in the running game. They're committed to running the football, and they're going to make an emphasis of it. Peyton wants to get up the line of scrimmage, get them to line up, and try and find a way to get the back some touches early.
Yeah, they don't huddle, do they?
No, they play a fast tempo, and it's going to make it very difficult for the Texans to make substitutions.
2nd down and 6 from the 12 for Manning after the turnover.
Kevin, what he's going to do, he's just going to look at that front. He's going to preview the secondary. He's going to get them in the best possible play based on the look.
And Rhodes. And hit initially by Travis Johnson, limited to a gain of 2. And down to the 10-yard line. And he doesn't use Manning a lot of motion before the play. A lot of teams do. The Colts don't.
That's a great point, Kevin. They want to get up and set formations with not a lot of motions or shifts so that Peyton Manning can preview the defense. Now it's going to be a little bit of a cat and mouse game. The Texans on the other side, they're going to try and show them some vanilla looks, some 2-deep coverages, and then roll to their pressure packages and their 3-deep looks late in the cadence.
So it is 3rd down and 4. 3rd down last week against the Giants. Manning hit 6 different receivers on 3rd down. And his first pass here this afternoon. Stokely. Touchdown. Brandon Stokely, who injured an ankle in mid-August, didn't play last week, missed all of preseason, comes up with the game's first score.
Now you just can't give Peyton Manning in this offense opportunities in short fields in the red zone because they'll pick you apart. And that's just what Manning does here. It didn't take him too long to get Brandon Stokely back involved in this offense, missing the game last week versus the Giants.
So Manning throws his second touchdown pass of the year. Here is Adam Vinatieri trying the extra point. And the Colts, who are just so deadly when they score first, building up an early lead. They never dig themselves out of a hole, which is what David Carr has got to do right now. The Colts cash in on the fumble by Houston. It was short, it was sweet, very typical of the Indianapolis Colts after David Carr, who fumbled 17 times a year ago, fumbled on the game's second snap. And the Colts got a 10-yard touchdown pass to their injured wide receiver Stokely. Here's Edel Shepard again to retrieve the Adam Vinatieri kickoff. This time he'll take it from the 4-yard line for the Texans. And then the pile, he is brought down, a 20-yard return. So Carr will get it for a second time. His team down 7-zip. Second possession for the Houston Texans after a fumble by Carr and a touchdown pass by Manning from the 24, first down and 10. Waleed Lundy, the rookie out of Virginia. And Mathis leads a brigade with no gain on the play. They remain at the 24. Putzier, the tight end, is wide. Carr hit again, fumble on the play. Recovered by the Texans. Mathis is the one to come in. It's a loss of 7. It's back to the 16-yard line.
Kevin, crowd noise is such an issue, and these tackles are late getting out of their stance. And you watch Mathis, he just beats Liger right up the field. He's got no chance. David Carr cannot feel that pressure, and Mathis gets his hands on the ball. It's a great job just getting back on top of the ball, but the crowd noise is such a factor here in Indy.
Walter is the third receiver. Jackson is the 5th defensive back. It's 3rd and 17. They need the 34. And the gain is out to the 30, make it 25-yard line. It was Lundy, and it's 3 and out for David Carr and the Houston offense.
Texans' only chance is to come in here and have some success running the ball. If you take anything away from the Giants-Colts game last week, the Giants ran the ball for 186 yards against this Colts front. They have to have success running the ball today.
Chad Stanley, the only 5th-year player on this ball club with the Texans, gets it high. Terrence Wilkins is deep back, and he played last year in the Canadian Football League and retrieves it at the 36. Good hang time with a Stanley punt of 39 yards. 39 yards. Manning has thrown a touchdown pass of 10 yards to Stokely after David Carr fumbled on the second snap of the game. A punt moments ago by Stanley, 37-yard line of the Colts. It's Manning, 1st and 10. And Dominique Rose with Dylan Gandy pulling with a nice block and finally tackled by C.C. Brown after a gain of about 8. It is 2nd down and a long one with the ball just beyond the 45. Rhodes again. Dean blocking this time. And DeMeco Ryans brings him out, but a 1st down run. He picks up 2. And 1st and 10. Second Colts possession in the 49-yard line. Fake to Rhodes, a block by Gandy, and he's got Utek, the H-back, who is down to the 25, a 26-yard pickup with a big-time crack by Brown and a 1st down for Indianapolis.
And Kevin, when they run the football, that's where all the play-action shots come off. And you watch Ben Utek here, he's just going to go down the middle of the field and run the post route. And the play-action really sets this up, and it freezes the linebackers just enough for Peyton Manning to get it up and down.
Texan 25, 1st and 10. No changes either way. And Rhodes, Lewis Sanders trips him up, brings him down, gain of 4 to the 21-yard line.
Kevin, Peyton Manning has more flexibility at the line of scrimmage than any other quarterback in the National Football League. And what I mean by that, he has the ability to change plays, change protections, and there's 2 reasons for that. First of all, he can handle all the responsibilities, and the second thing is he's earned it based on his performance and his play over the last 9 years.
And Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, gives him terrific freedom.
And he really trusts that Peyton Manning is going to make the right decision at the right time.
It's 2nd down and 6 from the 21. Rhodes will stay back and block, and Manning, look at the time, and the pass thrown away, intended for Wayne, who is covered on the play by Lewis Sanders.
It's a great example of Peyton Manning. You know, he's not the greatest runner, but he is great in the pocket. He has the ability to move around. He understands and senses pressure so well, and he's pretty quick back there, and he finds quick outlet throws to get him out of trouble.
One more completion, he'll surpass the great Johnny Unitas for all-time completions in the history of this franchise. Stokely has come in as a slot wide receiver, and the rookie Addai, the rookie running back out of LSU, is in the backfield with Manning. 3rd and 6. McLeon is the 5th defensive back, and here's Manning, wide open Addai. Touchdown.
Kevin, Peyton Manning told us yesterday that they'll get some opportunities on 3rd down because he knew the Texans would blitz him. And he does a great job there stepping up. They handle the protection, and Joseph Addai slips out of the backfield. The linebacker for the Texans never sees him.
So Manning completes his 2nd touchdown pass on 3rd down, the Vinatieri extra point. And the game only a couple minutes old, and 2 touchdown passes by Manning, and the first in the young career of running back Joseph Addai, a touchdown reception. Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan back in Indianapolis. 6 plays, 63-yard drive, 2.5 on the clock after a Houston punt, and Addai catches the touchdown pass from Manning. Vinatieri to kick off for a 3rd time in this game, and Adele Shepard is deep back at the goal line for the Texans. He's getting a workout from the 2. He gets by Reed, and he is finally brought down by Rob Morris, a one-time starting middle linebacker. His gain is to the 44. It's a 42-yard return. Ron Dane is in the running back position now in place of Lundy. From the 44, 1st and 10. Dane, the veteran. And gang tackled by a host of Colts after a gain of 3. He's out to the 47-yard line.
I remember all week the Colts have been talking about how they got their noses bloodied against the Giants in the running game. So the focus has been to come in here and stop the run early, make this football team dimensional, and force David Carr to beat you with his arm.
2nd down and 7 from the 47. Dane again, the NCAA's all-time leading rusher. June brings him down. A 1st down gallop. He's to the 45. Also hit by Sanders on a gain of 8.
Well, the defensive line of the Colts really dictates the tempo of the game. And you watch the way they start. They have so much speed and so much athleticism upfield. And then Brock and Rager inside, they can really generate some push. So that's probably as deep as a defensive line there is in the National Football League. 34.5 sacks a year ago.
45-yard line on their 3rd possession. 1st and 10. Dane again. He was let go by Denver. He is tripped up there by Cato June. He staggers down to the 37, picking up his 2nd consecutive gain of 8.
Well, that's good to see if you're the Texans. They have to stay committed to running the football. I've said this before. It's their only chance to slow down the tempo of the game, generate some long drives, and keep Peyton Manning and this explosive offense off the field.
The Shepard return of 42 yards sets up this good field position. 2nd down, 2 yards. Carr again trips. Darrell Reed comes and drills Dane. A loss of 3 back to the 40.
Well, it looks like they're having some problems at the center exchange. You just watch David Carr. He gets stepped on by Mike Flanagan's right foot. Mike Flanagan gets pushed back by the nose, and David Carr is not able to get his foot out of the way.
The linebacker's been taken out for the Colts. That's Gilbert Gardner. Jackson is the 5th defensive back taking his place. Lundy is the running back. 3rd and 5. Carr caught. Molds first down and grabbed on the play by Harper. It's a gain of 7 on 3rd and 5. Palmer threw 32 touchdowns, #1 in the NFL a season ago. It's a first down here, and the handoff goes to the rookie Lundy, who corkscrews his way to the 32-yard line. Hit by Reed on the second whelp, and then whacked by Brackett on a gain of 2.
Well, you know Gary Kubiak is committed to running the football, and this offense is really at its best when they can have some success doing that. Then they can move David Carr out of the pocket and get him out on the edges where he's really been the most accurate in his 4 years.
Walter and Shepard are the 2 receivers. 7th play of the drive, 2nd down and 8. That's Cook in motion. Carr, caught by Shepard, dives ahead, close to a first down near the 24-yard line. Grabbed by Sanders, gain of 7. Against the Texans in Houston last week, 3rd down and 1. From the 26, Lundy, he staggers ahead for the first down. Landing at about the 22 and tripped up by Schobel and Reed. Move the chains again. This drive started back at the 44, and Edel Shepard returned of 42 yards, set up the great field position.
Well, one of the things that concerns me about this offensive line, there's been so many changes. You know, McKinney's going from center to guard, Pitts tackle to guard, Wiegert from guard to tackle. So a lot of changes. The guy that's really been the anchor for them is the center, Mike Flanagan, who they brought over from the Packers.
Olds and Johnson are back in as receivers. Lundy gets the call on 1st and 10. And his gain with the helmet flying away at about the 18-yard line. They say there's a fumble on the play. Gardner was in there with the big hit, as was Monte Rager, the ex-Denver Bronco. And it is a fumble. And the Colts get it for a 2nd time on a Houston turnover in this first quarter. Another turnover after the play. Stopping Carr, and the Texans dead in their tracks.
In Monte Rager in the middle of your screen, he's going to make the tackle. He's going to force the fumble, and then he's going to recover it. Lundy has to learn to protect the ball in the pile. That's just a great play by Monte Rager.
So the 2nd turnover by the Texans from the 19-yard line, 1st and 10. Thomas Johnson is on that defensive line. Kalu is on that defensive line. And so is Peak. So some changes for the Texans on their D-line. 1st and 10 pass caught. Marvin Harrison makes the grab. He turned 34 in August, and he makes his 937th reception, picking up 26 out of bounds at the 45.
Watch Marvin Harrison at the top of your screen. He's just going to run a little crossing route, but the interesting thing is, in the middle of the route, he's going to run a little stair step. He's going to push him up the field and then lose Dante Robinson, and that's just a perfect throw by Peyton Manning.
3rd possession for the Colts from the 45. It is 1st and 10. And some movement, and the 10-year veteran Kalau was not
5-yard penalty.
fooled at all. He was there and signaling that it was a false start, as it was against the Indianapolis Colts.
You see Peyton Manning, he gets frustrated, and the thing that I love so much about him, he just makes the corrections right on the field, and he demands perfection from the players around him, and that's why they're usually a top 2 or 3 offense every year.
It's not the coaches stopping practice, it's Peyton stopping practice.
Yeah, he stops practice to make the corrections right on the spot.
1st and 10, Rhodes. Chased by Seth Payne, brought down. It was a 1st and 15, and he spins for 3 out to the 43-yard line.
You know, Kevin, we were talking about him not being very patient, and we were out of practice the other day, and he literally will stop the practice. He cannot wait until the next morning to watch the film and make the corrections. He's going to make them right there in the field, and that's why he is so special.
He always talks about the offense. It's the concepts and not necessarily memorizing plays.
Yeah, they ask their backs to do so much. He said it's impossible to try and memorize it all. You have to learn where you fit in the concept and the scheme of things.
2nd down and 12. They need the Texan 45. Rhodes with the block after the play action. And that's bobbled and finally hauled in on the near side by Brian Fletcher with no gain. It's Sanders and Ryans and Greenwood all right there. Fletcher with the grab.
Well, you watch Peyton. Again, the ability to move inside the pocket and then the quick release. And it comes out so fast. Fletcher kind of bobbles that when you have to catch it right the first time. But Peyton Manning has such a command of the offense. He understands protections, he understands coverages, and he really understands where his quick outlet is.
Ballou and Johnson and Seth Payne along with Peak still on that defensive line. 3rd and 12. No extra defensive back brought in here. Manning. That's caught by Marvin Harrison. Tripped up on the play by Glenn Earl. The gain is for 23. Earlier on this drive, Harrison caught one for 26. The gain to the 34. 1st and 10, Colts.
Well, the Texans don't have an answer right now for Peyton Manning. They can't find him in the pocket. He's doing such a good job stepping up, buying extra time to give his receivers like Marvin Harrison a chance to come out and work in those 2 deep coverages.
794 times Manning and Harrison have coupled up. 1st and 10, Rhodes. Hit by Seth Payne to the 30-yard line and a gain of 4. Harrison is one of those guys, and someday you will see his bust in Canton, Ohio.
Well, he is a special, special player. You know, it's interesting when you watch the dynamics between Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison and how they work together. They really raise the level of play of everyone around them.
The quarter has come to a close. 2 turnovers by Houston. 2 touchdown passes by Peyton Manning. And at the end of one, the Colts 14-0. We start the second quarter with the Colts on a drive. Houston fumbled after a good-looking drive themselves. Second Texan turnover this afternoon. It's 2nd down and 6. A 5th defensive back is McLeon. Starting offensive line is in there for the Colts. The starting defensive line is in there for the Houston Texans, except for
encroachment. 99 in the defense. 5-yard penalty. It's still 2nd down.
Except for Weaver. They've got Babin in there for Weaver for right now.
Well, you got to look at Travis Johnson there. And, you know, the 4-3 will be better for him. He got kind of lost and swallowed up last year in their 34 scheme. They're expecting big things out of their former #1 pick.
25-yard line, 2nd down and 1. Manning is 6 of 7, hitting 5 different receivers already for the Indianapolis Colts. Got the tight end Clark in the slot. Still 5 in the secondary for the Texans. Addai, the rookie. Great play made by Weaver, who just checked in. That's a loss of 5 on the play. Back to the 30-yard line. Anthony Weaver coming from Baltimore. And each week throughout the season, you can read what Phil Simms, Boomer Esiason, and Shannon Sharp have to say on the NFL on NFL.com. You won't want to miss it. So now it is 3rd and 6 back at the 30-yard line. Still the 5th defensive back is in there, McLeon, for the Texans.
This fast tempo, this no-huddle offense makes it very difficult for the Texans to make substitutions in the nickel and dime packages.
Babin has gone from a linebacker to the defensive line, but a stand-up lineman. 3rd down and 6. And Manning caught Reggie Wayne. Tackle made by McLeon. 1st down, 20-yard line, gain of 10 on 3rd and 6.
Well, the game plan for the Texans was to try and stop the run and somehow find a way to not give up any big plays, and they haven't done that. They haven't stopped the run, and they're just giving up too many big plays down the field to Wayne and Harrison.
Blaine Williams on the defensive end specifically today. They're not moving him around. 1st and 10 from the 20. Addai backed a couple times, and Greenwood brought him around and down. Robinson and Earl had their first cracks at him, but a gain of 5 to the 15-yard line by Joseph Addai, a Houston native. Went to Sharpstown High School in Houston.
I'm just listening to this. He's coming right at you. They're flying around trying to make some plays. Joseph Addai is going to be a good player for the Colts. They felt like he most resembled Edgerrin James in terms of his running style, his ability to catch the ball and block from that running back spot.
And the same exact size, 5'11", 214.
A lot of similarities.
Yeah, clone, 2nd down and 5 from the 15. Drive began back at the 19-yard line. The big plays on this Colt drive: 26 yards to Harrison and 23 yards to Harrison. Addai again. Brought down by Babin and a host of other Texans at the 12-yard line. With Travis Johnson in there as well on a gain of 3.
That's a perfect example of when the Texans show blitz. Peyton Manning is not always going to dial up a pass. In fact, he told us the other day, I love to run that stretch play away from the blitz. Sometimes you get some big gashes when the defense is going one way. If you can just crease a seam, you have some big plays, and that's what he did just there.
It's 3rd and 2 from the 12. Darrell Reed, a defensive lineman, has come in as the lead blocker as the fullback. A couple tight ends for Manning. 32. Reed wears number 95. Manning didn't like what he saw and calls a timeout. That's the first one burned by the Colts. They're marching again on 2 Manning touchdown passes. 10th play of the drive. It began back on the 19 after the Houston Texans fumbled the ball. Defensive lineman Reed is the fullback for Addai.
It's unusual to see the quarterback's check in the short yardage and goal line situation, but the Colts do that right here. Manning.
Reed with the block and intercepted in the end zone. Picked off on the play. A flag has been down in the end zone. The interception by Glenn Earl, who picks off Manning, who, by the way, threw an interception in week 1 in the end zone in the Meadowlands against the Giants.
And that's the exact reason, Kevin, why you don't see a lot of check-in in short yardage and goal line, because this drives offensive coordinators crazy.
We're still waiting for the call from Jeff Triplett, our referee here today in Indianapolis. You may recall that the interception last week was called back. Will this one resemble that?
Pass interference. Defense, number 21. That foul occurred in the end zone. Ball will be at the 1-yard line. 1st and goal.
So exactly like last week, he throws a pick in the end zone, called back because of a penalty. Throws another pick in the end zone here in week 2. Same thing, called back.
Yeah, the ironic thing is they're not very good in short yardage and goal line or the red zone. This is just a poor play by C.C. Brown. I mean, he's right in front of you, and you panic. And you can't do that in the red zone. He made a big mistake a week ago, biting on a short yard, a stretch play, and gave up a big touchdown. C.C. Brown needs to be more patient back in that back end and not jump on the first thing he sees.
Anderson is an extra linebacker. On the line is Thomas Johnson for the Texans. Reed remains as the fullback for Addai. 1st and goal for Peyton Manning. Addai hit once, slithering his way close, and in for the touchdown. It was a fumble on the play, but he had crossed, and the Colts have gone up 20-0.
The ruling is the ball crossed the goal line in possession, so it is a touchdown prior to the fumble.
Well, Kevin, the impressive thing there was this run. I mean, this is a strong run by Joseph Addai. He gets hit in the backfield, he keeps moving, he lowers his shoulders, and he's just driving his legs. And he never gives up. He keeps pushing forward, twisting and turning, trying to get, and that was close. That ball looked like it was coming out right on the goal line. But I'll tell you what, that was an impressive run by Joseph Addai.
It will be challenged by Gary Kubiak. The interesting thing is when Glenn Earl came in, he almost helped push him into the end zone for the Houston Texans. Inadvertently, but he pushed him in, and we've got a challenge. Texans have challenged a touchdown run by Addai. Jeff Triplett is our referee.
After reviewing the play, the runner was losing the ball prior to him crossing the goal line with the ball in possession. So it is a fumble by rule and recovery by Houston in the end zone. So it'll be Houston's ball, touchback, 1st and 10 on the 20.
The right call and a great defensive play by Glenn Earl out of Notre Dame, who stripped him of it on the goal line.
Well, we've got a great angle. Glenn Earl starts it all off. He gets his hands in there, and he starts pulling it. You'll see right here. And then what happens is Gandy comes in from the Colts, and he, in an effort to try and push Addai over the goal line, he actually helps to knock it out with his hand in his helmet. But it all starts with Glenn Earl getting his hand in there and trying to start stripping it from Addai.
Moreland Greenwood is the one to retrieve the loose ball in the end zone for the Texans, who begin it with the touchback, as you just heard, from the 20, first down and 10.
And the Texans needed something good to happen. They needed their defense to make a stop or create a turnover to try and jumpstart this offense.
There are no changes defensively for the Colts. Ron Dane is the running back for the Texans. First and 10. Andre Johnson hasn't caught a pass yet. This is Dane. Got a good block from the rookie Daniel, the tight end. And he chugs his way out before Bethea and Mathis bring him down. Gain of 6 to the 26-yard line.
You know, the greatest investment in any organization is usually your quarterback. And I had a chance to do a couple Texans games last year. And the thing that I always came away with was who was training David Carr. You know, they fired Chris Palmer, the offensive coordinator, promoted the offensive line coach Joe Pendry, promoted a tight ends coach to coach David Carr. And my number one responsibility for an organization is to put your players in a position where they can be successful. The Texans did not do that with David Carr.
It is second down and 4. Carr caught by Owens, who is the rookie tight end out of Wisconsin. He is grabbed in the play by Brackett. He has a first down to the 31. You know, Carr had this great chance to just succeed in so many ways, but he's been hit so many times. I know the one thing you do admire about him is the fact he keeps getting back up, and he's tough. He's not missed a start.
Yeah, but when you knock a quarterback down 208 times, it begins to take its toll. But the thing I respect about him, he's never missed a start for the Texans, and that shows some toughness on his part.
21, first and 10. Ron Dane hit by Brackett again. Chugging his way out to the 35, and he picks up 5. He was sacked 5 times last week and 208 times in the previous 4 seasons.
Yeah, and there's a lot of reasons for that. A lot of changes in their offensive line. I question their scheme, and I question also the fact that their backs were never really involved as much in the protections. Hopefully Gary Kubiak can come in with this new system and get David Carr straightened out.
No changes defensively for the Colts. Second down and 5. 36-yard line. Carr dropped by Johnson. First time they've gone to him. Incomplete. Sanders just about reeled it in. The flag is down. So in essence, you think they're beginning from scratch with Carr.
You have to start all over, and that's what Gary Kubiak told us the other night. It's a new process, a new beginning.
Personal foul. Chop block. 43 of the offense. That's a 15-yard penalty. Still second down.
Then Jameel Cook.
They went all the way back to the beginning in terms of recognizing coverages and recognizing fronts, and it was a long process in the offseason. You know, Gary Kubiak said David Carr did not have any vacation time this offseason. He was in the facility trying to learn our new system. He said we actually installed the system 3 different times so that he could get repetition, learning the system, learning the verbiage, and try and get him in a position where he can settle in and start making plays for this offense.
Fifth defensive back is in Marlon Jackson. Second down and 20. They need the 41. Carr. That's Kevin Walter, the ex-Cincinnati Bengal, who was belted on the play by Brackett. It's a gain of 4. It's out to the 25-yard line.
Back to Kevin and Rich.
3rd and 16 for Carr. Broken up beautifully by Cato June, who makes the play defensively from the linebacking position. He led Indy in interceptions a year ago. And the Texans can't do anything with the Colts fumble. They've got to punt the ball.
Well, just playing some zone coverage, and Cato June does a nice job sniffing this one out and just drives on the ball. The thing that could have helped David Carr there is for Owen Daniels to step back in the throw and cut off that lane for Cato June.
I think before we said Stanley was the only Texan to play there 5 years. He is the only punter along with Chris Brown. They've been the kickers since the beginning. And here is Terrence Wilkins, who gets by Simmons. A flag is down, and he maneuvers his way to the 48, a 10-yard return on a 37-yard punt. And the tackle was made by Evans, a reserve linebacker and a special teams demon for the Texans.
During the return, illegal block in the back. 43, return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Peyton Manning has thrown 2 touchdown passes so far. A perfect 158.3 rating. 7 of 8. He has it when we come back at his own 34. Manning has thrown a couple of touchdown passes. The Colts have also fumbled in the end zone on the bobble by the rookie Addai. Houston has had it 4 times. 2 fumbles and 2 punts. Moments ago, a punt by the Texans. 34-yard line for Peyton Manning, who doesn't have Stokely anymore because he's re-injured the ankle. 1st and 10. Rhodes is his running back. Deep drop by Peyton Manning. Reggie Wayne out of bounds. He is shoved by C.C. Brown. 38-yard line, 29-yard pickup, 1st down.
Well, the one thing you know about Peyton Manning, he does not discriminate. He spreads the ball around as well as anybody. He uses all his receivers, and that's not an easy thing when you have players like Marvin Harrison who, historically have over 100 catches every year. But Peyton Manning said to me the other day, I just try and make the reads, go through my progressions, and throw to the guy who's open.
Only one starter on the defensive line, that is Payne. 6 different receivers for Manning after the 29-yard reception by Wayne. 38-yard line of the Texans, 1st and 10. You're seeing more of Fletcher with UTEC out as well. There's a handoff to Rhodes. Payne is there, and then a nice stop made as well by Andy Kalu. 2nd down and 13. They need the 28. Manning, good block by Glenn. Dallas Clark to the 32. Whacked down the play by D'Amico Ryans. It's a gain of 9. 32-yard line, 3rd down and 4. 32-yard line. Manning from the gun. He's got Clark again. Tackle made by the 5th defensive back, McCleon. The gain is to the 25. He picks up 7 on 3rd and 4. Another Colt 1st down.
Kevin, you mentioned that Stokely's out, and the good news for the Colts is that Dallas Clark and Brandon Stokely are interchangeable in this offense. In other words, they can run the same plays, the same formations, the same patterns. Nothing really changes for Peyton Manning.
Like we said, with UTEC out with a head injury, Fletcher is now taking that position of the 2nd tight end. 1st and 10. Rhodes. And tackled in the linebacking core by Ryans. It's a gain of 3. Ryans was the Southeastern Conference Defensive Player of the Year and a rookie from Alabama. The gain to the 22-yard line.
Yeah, I've been impressed with him. He's making all the calls from that middle linebacker position. He had 13 tackles last week. They're excited about him. He's come in and he's just shown that he's ready for this. The game's not too big for him.
McCleon remains the 5th defensive back for the Texan defense. 2nd down and 7 from the 22. Manning over the head of Fletcher. Ryan Fletcher from UCLA, cut from 3 teams in his 2 years in the NFL. The guy didn't catch that many passes at UCLA, but they were going for him right there.
And the thing about Peyton Manning, when he sees a mismatch, he sees a formation, he just comes back with the same play. They tried to throw that same post route earlier on Marlon Greenwood, and they come right back with it, and Peyton just misses that one a little bit high.
Aaron Moorhead becomes the 3rd wide receiver. Addai is in the backfield with Rose with Manning. Manning is at 5 different receivers today on 3rd down. He's got 3rd and 7, and they need the 15 from the 22. Manning bobbled and dropped by Reggie Wayne, who signed the big-time free agent contract this past summer. Led the team in receptions a season ago. Drops that one right there. It's 4th down.
What's so impressive is just how wide open, though, Reggie Wayne is. And you can rep this all week if you're the Houston Texans. You can keep, holding up cards for your defense to get a look at. But until you see it live and full speed, man, it's difficult to defend all these different weapons that the Colts have.
So here's Adam Vinatieri, the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week, with his 4 field goals last week. A 40-yard try right here. And a guy who is bound for the Hall of Fame someday, one of the great clutch kickers in the history of the NFL, puts one through from 40. And the lead expands for the Colts in 17-0 over the Texans. We'll see Carr when we get back. With Super Bowl quarterback Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan, Vinatieri just officially kicked a 39-yard field goal and extends the Colts lead 17-0. Manning has thrown a couple of touchdown passes, and here's the kickoff by Vinatieri. The Colts coming off a 5-point win over the Giants on Sunday night. This is Shepard deep in the end zone. Will take it out. He had a 42-yard return the last time. This time he is brought down niftily on the special teams by Rocky Boyman, the ex-Tennessee Titan. It's a 23-yard return. Ron Dane is in the backfield. Starters out there defensively for the Colts. It's 1st and 10 for Carr. Outside he goes to his rookie tight end Owens, who slips at about the 21 and hits the deck right there. The coverage by Gardner. It was a 1-yard pickup.
Well, you know the Texans talked all week about coming in here, starting fast, handling the crowd noise, and not making mistakes. And that's just what they did. He talked about a terrible start. This is not what the Texans wanted. And you cannot come on the road against a divisional opponent and start games this way.
This is the 5th possession for Houston. They fumbled twice. They have punted twice. 2nd down and 9. Carr with time. Punts here. The ex-Denver Bronco tight end gets the grab. 1st down, 31-yard line. Grabbed on the play by Cato June. Picks up 10.
Well, they finally feel like they have a full complement of receivers. And Jed Putzier coming over from Denver. He knows the system. He's spent time with Gary Kubiak. And he's fit in real nicely for them and given David Carr another option at the tight end position.
Reed has now come in on the defensive line, a backup lineman for the Colts. 1st and 10, 31-yard line for the Texans. Carr. And that is the ex-quarterback at Wisconsin, Daniels, who makes the stop. Owen Daniels, a gain of 6 on the play. The gain is to the 37-yard line. The linebackers and Mathis bring him down. But there's a lot on the load of this team on Carr, isn't there? I mean, and the coach doesn't hide. He said he's got to carry us.
Yeah, there's no question. He has to make plays. He has to make good decisions for this young football team for them to have a chance. And so far in the first half, he has not done that.
2 tight ends set. 2nd down and 4. Here comes Gilbert. Gardner. There goes a pass, and it's caught by Andre Johnson, a Pro Bowler a couple years ago, who's finally brought down by Marlon Jackson. The gain to the 44, a 19-yard pickup, another Texan 1st down.
And you just watch Andre Johnson. He's just going to work across the field. Again, the play action does 2 things. It freezes the linebackers a little bit, but it really firms up that protection up front, and it gives David Carr just enough time to find Andre Johnson. Again, some of the similar routes that the Colts run, and Andre Johnson is a big, strong target that David Carr feels real comfortable with in this offense.
Dan Klecko, Bo Schobel checked in on the Colts defensive line. 1st and 10, 44 for Carr. Right through the hands of the spinning fullback Jameel Cook, and the coverage by David and by Cato June. Incomplete pass.
And one of the things that I see there, look how quick he is in the pocket. And they have to find a way to slow David Carr down in the pocket. Gary Kubiak talked about that. And one of the things, why is he so fast in the pocket? He's been knocked around so many times that it's forced him to get rid of the ball so quickly and speed things up. He has to slow his feet down.
Does he trust his protection?
Yeah, you can't trust your protection when you get knocked around as much as he has.
2nd down and 10. Rager was right in his grill. That's a dump off to Cook, who's tackled by Bethea. He bulldozes his way to the 33. He picks up 11, and on this drive, completions from Carr to Putzier of 10 and to Andre Johnson of 14. 11 yards right there, and they're all the way to the 33.
And Kevin, that's all part of the process for David Carr in this new system. Gary Kubiak is trying to teach him the system, trying to teach him protections, and try and get him to trust the protections, trust that offensive line, and just make good decisions with the football.
1st and 10, 33. Ron Dane, the ex-Giant Bronco, takes it to about the 32-yard line. A gang tackle down there by Brackett and Bo Schobel on a gain of 1.
Well, they're going to use all these backs there. They're going to use Ron Dane. They're going to use Lundy, and they're going to use Sam Gatto, who's just come over from the Packers. They all have similar running type styles, but they need to find one of these guys to really emerge and take control of that running back situation.
And there's no doubt he is committed to the running game, Kubiak.
He knows that his only way to win here with the Texans, they have to run the ball. They have to establish themselves as a dominant running team because everything comes off of a successful run game.
8th play of the drive, 2nd down 9. Drive began back at the 20-yard line from the 32 for David Carr. Shuffle pass, and it's bobbled by Gatto, the ex-Packers, who was just talking about seconds ago. Rich mentioned they just got him in a trade with Green Bay. Gatto couldn't hold on to it. He saw a lot of those kind of passes actually from Brett Favre. He should be used to that.
Yeah, he shouldn't be surprised by that. But again, it's just the reps and the timing and not being around it. You're unfamiliar with it. But this is a good job by David Carr stepping up in the pocket and just looking for the quick outlet. The interesting thing, he sat next to Sam Gatto on the plane ride over, tried to get him comfortable with the game plan and making sure he understood the offense and the protections.
So David Carr, who is 9 of 12, he's fumbled once, and the team has punted twice in this game. as a timeout is taken just before the 2-minute warning. It is the first timeout burned by the Texans. A 3rd and 9 awaits Carr. Again, a good-looking drive by the Texans. Last time they fumbled. He's got a crucial 3rd and 9 from the Colt 32. Gatto is in the backfield.
Well, the time and the timeout situation is insignificant. They have to find a way to convert. A field goal in this situation is not good enough for the Texans.
Starting defense out there for the Colts. Sam Gatto, huge hole, and he's got a gain to the 25. It's a pickup of 7, which takes us to the 2-minute warning.
I like the fact that he knew it was a 2-down situation, Gary Kubiak, and that's why he went with the run there.
On 4th down, here is a 43-yard field goal attempt by Chris Brown, which he nails, and the Texans are on the board. So faced with 3rd down and long, they get the 7-yard run by Gatto. 4th down and a couple of yards to go. They elect to go for 3. You like the call?
I do, but, you know, it was an interesting call on the 3rd down. I really felt like he called the run, hoping that they'd get up there where they had a decision to make on 4th down, whether or not to go for it. I really felt like the touchdown there, going for the touchdown before half, would help this football team. But that's why I'm not calling plays for the Texans. But I love Gary Kubiak. He's a perfect fit for this football team. And, you know, Kevin, he's coming into a situation that's not very good. I mean, he took over a 2-14 team. The offense was 30th. The defense was 31st. And it's not his players. He has come into a situation where he has to take the players that he has and try and fit them into the systems that he's trying to incorporate here with the Texans.
Houston native Gary Kubiak, a one-time Oilers ball boy at training camp. He was the leading passer in Texas history when he left St. Pius High School for Texas A&M. Kubiak became a coach about 23 years ago, and he's been a part of a lot of Super Bowl teams, but he gained his notoriety in the NFL as the tutor for Elway and later Jake Plummer with Mike Shanahan in Denver. So 17-3 after that 43-yard field goal. And here is Rand Carthon, who gets the ball about the 15-yard line, and then he plows ahead to the 31 on a return of 21 yards. From the 31-yard line, 1st and 10, and Manning has got a couple timeouts with which to work, but he's got a couple injured receivers. Utek is out with the head. Stokely is out with an ankle. He's thrown 2 touchdown passes today. Rhodes in the backfield. Here comes Mario Williams. That pass is caught. Reggie Wayne, C.C. Brown, and Earl make the stop. 46-yard line, 16-yard pickup and a 1st down.
You know, Kevin, a lot of teams in this situation with a 17-3 lead will play it conservatively, but not the Colts. They're going to keep going after them, keep attacking them, and that's just what they did there.
1st and 10 from the 46. Manning again. Dallas Clark. Belted by McCleon and by Jason Simmons. Close to a 1st down. 44-yard line. Picks up 9.
This is the most fluent team in the 2-minute drill in the National Football League. They move the chains so quickly. They get in and out of their tempos. Peyton Manning is great at this.
2nd down and 1, and don't throw this away. Harrison was covered by Robinson down the sideline, and an incomplete pass. You know, the one thing about Manning that you have mentioned this entire week getting ready for the game is his attention to detail. He demands the details, and thus the players around him are detail-oriented as well.
Yeah, and his preparation is so key. And when you watch him work on the practice field, you watch Marvin Harrison run routes, it forces the DBs to do a better job covering. It really makes everybody else practice harder, work harder, and be more focused on the attentions and the detail.
Weaver and Williams on the defensive line for the Texans. It's 3rd and 1 from the Texan 44. And Peyton Manning hands off, throws, and stopped. He did not get it. Weaver, along with Glenn Earl, stopped Rhodes. So now a loss on the play of about a yard. And so they'll push it back to the 45, where it is now. It should be 4th down. Make it 3rd down. 3rd down and 11 yards to go. Manning. And caught by Wayne. Grabbed on the play by Lewis Sanders. A 19-yard pickup earlier on that drive. Wayne caught one for 16 yards.
Well, Wayne will be in the slot. He's working up the field. It's a two-deep coverage. Peyton Manning knows he has to get it up and down. He actually stops him with the throw to take this hit off from Lewis Sanders. Great throw, great hookup by Marvin. That's just a great throw.
He looks for Wayne, and on the other side, Harrison was caught in the coverage of Robinson. So here is Manning. The interesting thing too, and you don't talk about offensive linemen looking at the play clock a lot of the time, and a lot of time, of course, it's on the road. But the center, Jeff Saturday, says he is watching the play clock almost as much as his quarterback Manning is.
He's very aware of the play clock in the stadium, and he looks at it at the line of scrimmage, and they'll actually make a hurry call. And Peyton does that to let Jeff Saturday know that he's not going to get into the second part of his cadence to go ahead and snap the ball. That's the type of details, and that's the type of exactness that this Colts offense has.
27-yard line. It is a first down. So after that timeout, and the Colts have one timeout remaining. And Manning, Moorhead with the grab. Right in front of Lewis Sanders. It's a gain of 12. So Manning, a couple times to Wayne for 16 and 19. He got Clark for 9, and he just got Moorhead for 12. And the ball is at the 15-yard line. And as the clock is stopped at 13, he spiked the ball.
Yeah, they'll definitely have time for another play here. Well, the impressive thing is how in tune everybody is. The offensive line after that play, they ran up to the line of scrimmage. They understand the situation. This is a really sharp Colts offense.
Clark is now in the backfield. Second down and 10. Rhodes at the side of Manning as well. Simmons and McLeon, the extras on the defense. The pass caught for a touchdown. That's Reggie Wayne. 15-yard strike. Flag has been thrown on the play. Flag is down at the 19-yard line. It's against the Colts. Wipe it away.
It's still second down.
It was on Tarek Glenn, the left tackle, number 78.
You just watch him up the top of the screen, and Antoine Peak just beats him with the speed move on the corner. The referee's right there to make that call. And you just hate to have a penalty on a touchdown, especially in the red zone. And Tarek Glenn is a Pro Bowl player who understands situations, but that was just a poor decision by Tarek Glenn.
Moments ago, we had a confusion on if it was third or fourth down. The chain gang, which we always watch, they and the scoreboard both had the wrong down. Now it is second down and 20 from the 25. Manning. And that is incomplete. The coverage by Robinson. The intended receiver was Marvin Harrison. And so Manning can't get his team in. Again, red zone area issues continued for the Colts. Are going to try for 3 with Vinatieri and 3 seconds left.
Yeah, not really good in the red zone today. The interception that got called back because of the penalty that Peyton threw. And then right here, they get a chance to get down there. They're just not able to be on the same page. And the penalty absolutely killed them in that part of the field.
Vinatieri has already kicked a field goal today of 39 yards. He'll be trying one here from 43. Hunter Smith, the punter, holding. Vinatieri is perfect on the play. And the Colts are now on top 20-3 as we have reached halftime. We'll be back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station as you're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 41. The 3, Kevin Harlan and Rich Gannon, some thoughts on the first half.
Well, the Texans, believe it or not, are still in this football game. They've gotten some breaks, but they've really struggled, Kevin, on first down. Only 2.3 yards per play on first down. It's not enough, and it's really gotten them behind in the down and distance. It's easy to talk about it at halftime to keep your poise, but the Texans got to find a way to come back out in the second half, a little energy, a little emotion.
Let's take a look at some of the numbers and some of the statistics of that first half of play. After a quick fumble by Carr, Manning hit Stokely. And this is the only time we've seen him in the game. He is injured and out, re-injuring that ankle. But he caught the touchdown pass there. And then the rookie running back out of LSU, Joseph Addai, catching the pass, ramming it in from 21 yards, and a touchdown, the second for Manning, and some of the numbers through 30 minutes of football.
Well, the Texans don't put up a ton of yards offensively, but the 2.3, which we talked about earlier, they got to find a way to do a better job on first down.
Texans have had it 5 times, 2 punts, 2 fumbles, and a field goal. And the Colts will get it. That's Terrence Wilkins to your left and Rand Carthon to your right. They await the kickoff from the Texans and Chris Brown. I want to go back one more time to the confusion on that last drive by the Colts. The chain gang on one side of the field had 1 down and distance. The chain gang on the other side of the field had another down and distance. And the scoreboard had a 3rd version. So, and the officials, they appeared confused on the field as well.
And sometimes it happens to players. It happened to me in Pittsburgh a couple of years ago, and it actually cost us a football game.
I did that game. Pretty bad luck for him. I get all confused on these downs and distances as Wilkins takes it out. Head over heels to the 19-yard line, and Kevin Walter, the 3rd wide receiver, makes the stop after an 18-yard return. And here is a look again at Peyton Manning. You had a funny story, and you were Pro Bowl quarterbacks together for the AFC a couple years ago.
Well, you know what? We went to 4 Pro Bowls together. I was fortunate to be over there with him. I used to always kid him because in 3 of those Pro Bowls, I was actually the starter. And I used to always kid him, say, hey, Peyton, you got to carry my helmet out to the practice field. But, you know, he's kind of left me in the dust. He's gone to a lot more Pro Bowls. And he's broken a lot more records. And I enjoy watching Peyton Manning play.
Here he lines up with Addai in the backfield, the rookie. 1st and 10, 17-yard line. Anderson is one of the linebackers now for the Texans, and here comes the running Manning, who slides into about the 20, doesn't pick up anything on the play. You've always been impressed with his mobility and his feet. And you see, it's kind of one of those hidden things he possesses.
Yeah, he actually had a screen called there, and the back got tied up, and so he did the next best thing, trying to get outside the pocket. But he is so smart, he's so alert, he understands situations. And Peyton Manning, you always have a chance with old number 18 at quarterback.
Mario Williams again not juggling all over that line. He is staying just on the defensive end by design by the Texans today. It's 2nd down and 10. Manning outside. This is Addai, and C.C. Brown has a beat on him, as does D'Amico Ryans. It is about a yard gain, and that's it on the play, and he's to the 19. So when you take a look at Manning, let's put him in some historical context here.
Well, he's with some greats here, and you know, all Hall of Fame quarterbacks. But the thing that really jumps out at me is the touchdowns. 245 already in just 9 years. And at this pace, at this rate, he's pretty much going to shatter every significant passing record in the National Football League.
McCleon becomes the 5th Texan defensive back. 3rd down and 9. Rhodes is now in with Addai in the backfield at the side of quarterback Peyton Manning, who just turned 30 years old. Marvin Harrison, backed by McCleon, has a 1st down, 35-yard line, pickup of 16. Rich on 3rd and 9.
You know, Marvin Harrison is not a very big player, but he has such a great feel for space and zone coverages, and he just finds a way. He's got a knack for just sitting down in the hole and giving Peyton his numbers, and Peyton does a good job of finding Marvin Harrison.
It is a 1st down. First 2nd half possession by either team. Now the Colts at the 35-yard line, and Addai remains, and he gets the call. Dean with the pulling block. And the tackle is made by Mario Williams, the number 1 pick, on a gain of 3. As you look at Manning and the relationship with Tom Moore, it was interesting at practice that Moore wore the headset that he wears in the game in practice on Friday. Not just a handheld, but he wore the headset, like just recreating that same situation.
Yeah, Tom Moore's a beauty, and he gives Peyton the freedom to go ahead and go with it. If he sees something at the line of scrimmage, Tom Moore is not going to second guess him, and Peyton Manning says, that's really what I appreciate about Tom. He has my back.
38-yard line, 2nd down and 7. Addai. There's a block by Jake Scott. Tackle is made by Robinson. C.C. Brown and Ryans, gain of 9. Another 1st down, 47-yard line.
Kevin, I don't want to make comparisons, but Joseph Addai, you know, seeing him live reminds me a little bit of Edgerrin James. I mean, he gets to the edge, he runs that stretch play so well. He's a really accomplished receiver out of the backfield, and I really believe that he's going to be a good fit for the Colts.
Kalu is on the defensive line. Thomas Johnson is on the defensive line. Babin is on the defensive line. Seth Payne is the only starter for the Texans on their front 4. 1st and 10, 46-yard line. Scott with the block for Manning. and is caught by Harrison. Coverage by Robinson, a Rookie of the Year runner-up a couple years ago to Jonathan Vilma. A 12-yard pickup down to the 42.
Think about all the catches and all the great players that have come before him, and Chris Carter, Tim Brown, Jerry Rice. But Marvin Harrison is right on their shirt tails. And he and Peyton Manning have been one of the greatest combination quarterback-receiver duos in the National Football League.
He's caught a pass 156 consecutive games. That is also a historic mark. Addai again. Look at the great shifty moves into the backfield. And tackled by Earl. A gain to the 33. 9-yard pickup. And just shy of a first down. The one thing they say about this kid is he asks great questions. He doesn't take anything for granted.
Yeah, and he's so smart. And Peyton Manning said he took him under his wing right from the get-go. He wanted to make sure that Joseph Addai felt comfortable in this system. And he looks really sharp today.
2nd down and 1. Changes defensively for the Texans. And Addai again. Brought down by Johnson on that defensive line after a gain of 5. And when Addai was in high school in Houston, he was a high school quarterback and an All-America. When he went to LSU, they thought about other positions, eventually ending up at running back.
Yeah, I get the sense that if things are starting to slow down for him a little bit. You know, you don't get a chance with this no huddle to really think about formations and assignments as you break the huddle. You have to kind of learn on the fly. And Joseph Addai looks comfortable right now in this offense.
It is a first down to the 28-yard line, first second half possession. Glenn with the good block, and they're looking for Wayne, covered on the play by Lewis Sanders. And that is a incomplete pass. They worked on that play, folks, I bet, 10 passes before the game, and that was kind of an interesting wrinkle too with Manning and his pregame rituals.
Yeah, it's amazing. They got out here and they have this routine where they work and they throw and they go through their routes. But Peyton's gotten smart, and with experience comes wisdom. He's cut back because he realizes that he can't exert all that energy with all these different young receivers like he used to, and he's really had to cut back on a number of throws prior to the start of the game.
Still at the 28 and 2nd down and 10 on the 10th play of this Indianapolis drive. Addai, great block by Glenn, great block by Wayne, great block by Clark, all the way down to the 12-yard line. A scintillating 16-yard run, another first down for the Colts.
You know, I got the sense that the Colts were pressing a little bit in the first half, and now they've really got a good mix of run and pass. And Addai is just, he's just rocking and rolling, and they're really doing a good job with this offensive line, creating some holes up front and really pushing around the Texans front.
So on this drive, 12 and 16-yard passes to Harrison, a 16-yard romp by Addai. From the 12, it's 1st and 10. Rhodes has come in for Addai. And he's got 44 rushing yards, does Joseph Addai out of LSU. Manning in the red zone. It's batted down. Incomplete pass. Tall front, and it is tall. Got in the way of the 6'5" Peyton Manning.
Just trying to get a little slant route. It's a pretty athletic play by Anthony Weaver, who came over from Baltimore this year, and he's showing some pretty good jumps there.
Weaver signed a $12 million signing bonus to join the Texans and leave Baltimore. 2nd down and 10. And he's young too, only in his 5th year for Houston. Rhodes, good tackles made on the line by last year's #1 pick out of Florida State, Travis Johnson. It's a gain of 2 to the 10.
Well, this is where things get a little tricky for the Colts. You got a 3rd and 8. You're in the red zone. It's a short field, and it really limits the plays that you can call in this area. You know, it's not an easy call for Tom Moore, but again, Peyton Manning's going to get at the line of scrimmage. He's going to preview it. They have called a play that they like. Now it's a question of just sorting through the looks, the coverages, and getting into the best possible play based on this situation.
Base defense for the Texans. It's 3rd down and 8 for Manning from the 10. Williams was jumping. They also had Babbitt on the other side, and you see the flags on the field. It's like they're trying to simplify things for Williams this week as opposed to preseason last week when they were moving him all over that defensive line.
Yeah, and he really struggled with that. In fact, you know, he talked to the coach this week and said, hey, just can I line up in one position? I just feel more comfortable in one position. And, you know, he plays high right now, Kevin. He comes out of his stance. He's a taller player, and he has to learn to play lower. When the offensive line sees your numbers, they get their hands on you, they lock you up, and you're really neutralized. So he has to learn the speed of the game. he has to learn to be able to develop and refine his skills, and it's a process.
Well, then you take a look at Williams. There was a way that Richard Smith, the defensive coordinator, was going to handle the no huddle today. That's against the Colts. Because the defensive calls were going to really be related to the same group on the field, there are defensive calls on every defender's wristband this afternoon.
Yeah, because it makes his job very difficult to make the substitutions and make the call because of this fast tempo, no huddle offense. And so what he's done, he's put the calls on all the players' wristbands so they can just look to the sidelines for a number and a code and get into the right situation, the right defense.
So it's 3rd and 13. The ball is pushed back to the 15-yard line. They can get a first down. Manning, good block by Gandy, and it's a touchdown pass in the end zone. And it's caught by Brian Fletcher, the 4th of his career. Manning has thrown his 3rd touchdown pass today.
What they've done, Kevin, they've worked the middle of the field, and they've really gotten after the secondary. Just watch the tight end. He'll start working up the middle of the field. The linebacker drops him to pick up the underneath route. And again, the safety is nowhere to be seen in the picture. These two safeties right now are having a hard time sorting through the different looks of the Colts.
Vinatieri's extra point. A good-looking drive beginning on the 18. Passes by Manning of 12 and 16 yards to Harrison. Addai, a 16-yard run. And then this beauty, a laser of 15 yards to Fletcher. Peyton Manning has thrown touchdown passes today. 10 yards to Stokely. 21 yards to Addai, and 15-yard touchdown pass moments ago to Fletcher. Edel Shepard is deep back at about the 1. Adam Vinatieri to kick off for the Indianapolis Colts. It's 27-3 Indy. We'll leave it there. That's the one thing about Vinatieri. Remember last couple of years, the Colts would bring in a guy just to kick off. Not this year. They got an all-timer in Vinatieri. Let's see David Carr's first second-half possession after this. Peyton Manning just threw his 3rd touchdown pass. The ensuing kickoff was a touchback on the boot by Vinatieri from the 21st and 10 for David Carr. And this is Dane, who got tripped up. Oh, and look at Spencer is down. The rookie left tackle is down. And you can see in great pain, Ron Dane tripped over his leg as he was trying to block out the ensuing rush of Freeney from the Indianapolis Colts. There's an injury timeout. This big man has had his hands full today. We'll update him when we come back to Indy. The injured player is the starting Texan left tackle Charles Spencer, rookie out of Pitt. He was a 3rd-round draft choice, a guy who was recruited as a tight end. They moved him to the defensive line at Pitt, and then as a junior they moved him to the offensive line, and he is a starter. But as you can see, he is favoring a left leg injury. Whether it's knee or ankle, we couldn't tell.
Now you just hate to see that because he's done such a good job. You know, coming in here today, this is not an easy place to play, making your first start on the road and going against Dwight Freeney. But he's battled and he's done a nice job. You just watch it coming right at you at the bottom of the screen, and actually Ron Dane, the back, actually runs into him. That's like a buzzsaw, and he's locked out protecting, and he's trying to lock up Dwight Freeney, and he's got his left leg anchored in the ground, and Ron Dane just runs right back into the backside of it.
This is a position where they can ill afford, as most Texans fans know, any injury. So the replacement will be 9-year veteran Ephraim Salam, familiar with the Denver system. He played for the Broncos a couple years ago, played in a Super Bowl actually. And he is a player who was signed as an unrestricted free agent from Jacksonville. First year with the Texans. This is their 6th possession. In the previous 5 possessions, 2 punts, 2 fumbles, and 1 field goal. 2nd down and 10. Dane remains with the block on Freeney and outside for Cook, who's hit by Harper, and no gain on the play. Harper was all over him. They're going to give him a gain of 1 to the 21.
Well, you go back and look at the touchdown. They're really going to stress the safeties, and also Marlon Greenwood in the middle. He's going to be put on an island. They're going to run the post going up the middle, and the receiver coming underneath on a little under route. Watch Marlon Greenwood. He's going to let go of the tight end and jump the under route. The safeties are nowhere in your picture, and Peyton Manning, it's an easy throw for him to the tight end Fletcher.
Marlon Jackson has taken the place of Gardner, the linebacker. It's 3rd and 9. They need the 30. Here comes Carr. He needs the 30, and from behind he is taken down. Swallowed up by Robert Mathis, a meager gain of 2. And it's 3 and out for the Texans, who in that series also lose their starting left tackle.
Well, this defensive line is relentless, and they play with great speed, great precision. You just see Mathis, he never gives up on that. He follows him all the way around, tracks him around. David Carr never even feels Mathis on the backside.
Chad Stanley will punt the ball. Brian Pittman will snap it. Terrence Wilkins is deep back. He began his career with the Colts, then wandered around the league, went to Canada last year. Now he's back in Indy. Great hang time. Wilkins from the 34. And hit by the long snapper and brought down Pittman, 48, along with Evans, bringing him down. A 12-yard return, a 44-yard boot. Manning has thrown 3 touchdowns already. Does he have anything left with 6:24 to play in the 3rd? Colts have had it 6 times, 3 touchdown passes, a couple field goals. They fumbled in the end zone from the 45 after the Texan punt. 1st and 10. Manning. Here comes Ryans. Incomplete. Incomplete pass. You know, the thing about the Colts, they've been good for so long, so many wins, so close. When can they ever get over the hump? And what are they going to do to get over that?
They have to develop a demeanor and they have to play better defensively. I think that's really what's held this team back the last couple of years. 2nd
down and 10 for Manning. It's by Peak. Dumps it off to Rhodes. Good block by Clark. Brought down by C.C. Brown. 39-yard line, 16-yard pickup.
What Peyton Manning does as well as anybody, we talked about getting everyone involved, but the use of the backs in the passing game, the little angle routes, under routes, whatever it takes. He wants to get the ball into the hands of the players who can make plays, and the backs for the Colts have done that so far today.
9th, different receiver he is hit this afternoon. 1st and 10. Read well by Johnson, Travis Johnson. 1-yard loss on the play for Dominique Rhodes, who grew up in Abilene, Texas, went to a little school in Wichita Falls called Midwestern State University. Undrafted. Edgerrin James was injured a year. He came in, gained 1,000 yards. He's kind of lived in James's shadow.
Yeah, it's not been an easy thing, but he's done it with a lot of class, and now he's getting the opportunity to really play some more, and he's really taking advantage of it.
2nd down and 11 yards to go. 5 in the secondary, including McCleon, who played basically the nickel the entire game. It's Harrison. D'Amico Ryans gets him around the thigh. A gain down to the 25-yard line. 15-yard pickup. Another 1st down.
One of the things the Texans have not had an answer for is the under route. And you'll see from the right side of your screen, Marvin Harrison coming across. There's always an under route somewhere on the field when you play the Colts, and the Texans have not been able to locate that player. And Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, these guys have run that under route today and gotten some big plays.
Number 5 all time, Lewis Sanders, is injured and will be helped off the field for the Texans. But Art Monk, one of the great receivers in the history of the NFL, and Marvin Harrison has just passed him with that reception. Manning has already passed Unitas today for the all-time completion mark in the history of the Colts. From the 25, 1st and 10. The new cornerback is Kevin Garrett out of SMU, taking the place of the injured Lewis Sanders, who was replacing the injured DeMarcus Vagans. Look out! Williams almost had his first sack, but he clobbers Manning. Incomplete. And you've mentioned this. He looks more comfortable, does Williams, at one position as opposed to playing 3 different ones on that line today.
Yeah, and they're moving him to both sides. He's actually playing the right side and the left side a little bit, but he is a strong player, and they feel like he's really a close side end. In other words, they want him to the tight end side where he can use his size and leverage against the open side, the tackle or the tight end, And he's a big, big, strong player. He needs to learn to play with a little more quickness and speed off that edge.
Sanders back in at the corner. 2nd down, 10 from the 25. Manning. And another nice reception is made by Aaron Moorhead. His dad played in the NFL, did Moorhead's. The tackle was made by McLeon. The gain is to the 20. It's a pickup of 6. Emory Moorhead, the dad of Aaron, played for 12 years for the Giants, Denver, and Chicago.
The Texans talked all the week about they trained this defense to know where Manning goes with the ball versus certain coverages and his tendencies so that they can anticipate and drive on that. And when you watch the Texans today, they really haven't had an answer. They're not sure, based on the coverages, where Peyton Manning is going with his throws.
3rd down and 5 from the 20-yard line. Manning with 3 touchdown passes this afternoon. A couple Vinatieri field goals. And Peyton again deep and out of the fingertips of Clark, who is covered by Moreland Greenwood. And you can see they're coming in on Manning now, so the defense of the Texans keep him out, and they relegate the Colts offense to a 3-point try by Vinatieri.
Well, he told us yesterday he knew he was going to have some opportunities on 3rd down. Peyton Manning did, because of the pressure packages that the Texans bring. Peyton showed some great patience there, trying to find the tight end, and he just misses him with the throw.
Vinatieri has hit field goals today from 39, from 43. This will be a 38-yard try. He was 4 of 4 last week. He is 3 of 3 today. And the Colts have a 27-point lead. Complete dominance, and looking at 2-0 to start the season again. Peyton Manning today starting another game, 130 consecutive games. And you were quick to point out this week that consecutive start streak is very important to him.
Yeah, it's really important. He realizes his value to this football team is lining up under center each and every Sunday. But not only that, during the course of the week, too. He takes it very seriously. It's something that's very important to Peyton Manning.
After the field goal from Vinatieri of 38 yards, the ensuing kickoff. This is Shepard, a yard deep for the Houston Texans. And he is whacked down the play by the Colts. Lacasse, a rookie out of Syracuse, a 21-yard return to the 21-yard line. So here is David Carr once again. When does a coach know about his quarterback? I mean, they're still in the feeling out process, and Carr's been there 5 years, and Kubiak's been there 1. When will he know if he's got the guy?
Quite honestly, Kevin, I don't know that he really knows. I think this season is going to be important for David Carr and the Texans. They have to see improvement from him. They have to find out if he's really the player that they think he is, and that they can build this football team around.
The 21-yard line. Boy, Molds has been quiet today. 1st and 10. Sam Congado acquired in a trade this week with Green Bay. Raheem Brock makes the tackle. Gain of 3 out to the 24. There's Molds. Very quiet afternoon for him.
Yeah, I think this is a process. You're actually going to see a little bit of no huddle here now. Trying to change the tempo in the game, the Texans are, and that's a good idea. Try and get some big plays, trying to change the tempo, try and get something going for this offense.
2nd down and 8 from the 24-yard line. Carr, Gatto, and belted by Brackett and Gardner, the linebackers. 26-yard line, and a gain of 3 for Sam Congado, a native of Nigeria.
Well, it's never a good thing when you have a player who comes over early in the week and he's in your backfield. But that's the reality of things for the Texans. I mean, they're going to continue to try and build this football team. It's not going to happen overnight, but they're looking for help anywhere they can possibly get it.
It's 3rd down and 5. Base defense for the Colts. They want a timeout because they had the wrong personnel out there for a 3rd and 5. They're lining up. The Texans were, and quickly Brackett and Gardner call a timeout, much to the chagrin of defensive-minded coach Tony Dungy. Coming next, the Patriots will take on the Jets. The Chiefs will battle the Broncos, or the Titans tangle with the Chargers. Check your local listings right here on the home of Super Bowl 41, CBS Sports. With Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan. The offensive line has already taken a hit. Charles Spencer, the starting left tackle, knocked out the last series. Salam taking his place on a line that you've noticed in watching tape takes very tight splits.
Yeah, it's real. When you look at the end zone copy of the tape, of the Texans offensive line. Their splits to me look a little bit tight, and that really inhibits you in the running game. But I think what they're concerned about, again, is protection for David Carr.
3rd down and 5 after the Colts timeout. Gatto was in, fumbled by Carr, jumps on it again. We told you that's a second fumble today by Carr. He fumbled 17 times last year, which was an NFL high. 3rd sack on him. Texans have got a punt.
Well, they kill you with the speed up the edge. It forces David Carr to step up inside, and then who's waiting for you inside? Raheem Brock and Monte Rager. I mean, that's a lethal combination.
Stanley with the punt. And Wilkins will take it at the 30-yard line, stepped out of bounds. Garrett was there to cover a 47-yard punt with, as you saw, no return. There's a new general manager and there's a new head coach in Houston. There's also a guy here who I think all these general managers in the league can learn from, the NFL Executive of the Year, a 4-time guy awarded that, Bill Polian. The one thing about him, he makes every draft pick count. As you can see, the Colts have a lot of late-round picks that are still here. And it's a science, but a successful science with him.
Well, he's had success everywhere he's been. You go back and look at his time at the Buffalo Bills. He helped turn that franchise around and get them back into the Super Bowl. The Panthers, he helped start that organization up, got them to the championship game. Then you think about what he's done here with the Colts, bringing Peyton Manning in here and then Tony Dungy. I mean, he's really been a difference maker for the Colts, and he's such a great evaluator of talent.
I talked to him the other day about Paul Tagliabue, the former commissioner of the NFL. So eloquent was Polian, the way he described the influence of Tagliabue from 36-yard line, 1st and 10 for Peyton Manning. With Addai and Rhodes in the backfield and a block by Scott and Glenn. They dump it off to Rhodes, who's waylaid by the former Kansas City Chief and St. Louis Ram, Dexter McCleon. When you look at the offense, and this is a high-powered offense that Polian has put together, 3 of the top 20 salaries in football around the offensive end. But there's great appreciation, too, for a guy like Peyton Manning. You can see the recognition, the fan base, all involved Bill Polian, who has put us to these great heights.
Well, years ago, this was an organization. You played in the league. You wanted to come in and play the Colts, and that's no longer the case with Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison and the job that Bill's done here with this organization.
2nd down 4 from the 41 for Manning. That's caught by Harrison again, dancing with Robinson, and goes out of bounds. As he is out, and officials are so slow to mark him out. The 41-yard line, a gain of 17 yards. And Harrison picks up another reception, his 6th of the day.
The impressive thing is this ball comes out of Peyton Manning's hands well before Marvin Harrison is out of the cut. Peyton anticipates that little comeback on the sidelines, and that's just a situation where those guys have done it over and over and over again for a number of years.
Manning is over 300 yards passing. Harrison is over 100 yards receiving, 41-yard line, 1st and 10. Rhodes, and tripped up initially by Weaver, and scurries ahead to the 35 and picks up 6.
You know, one of the impressive things that I've seen from the Colts today, this is kind of a setup or a trap game, and it's very difficult when you play at home and you play against a team that you're supposed to beat by a pretty good margin of points. And sometimes you get antsy. You want to score 25, 30 points in the first quarter. It doesn't always work out that way. But what the Colts have done is they've kept it in front of them, and they've been patient, and they've done and worked their offense.
The Colts are 8-0 against Houston, and 9-0 is being printed as we speak at the end of 3:33 Indianapolis. We start the 4th quarter with Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan, 2nd down and 4 to go from the 35 for the Indianapolis Colts in a game where Manning has thrown 3 touchdown passes, and he is sacked here. That is Jason Babin who gets him. That's the 2nd time Manning has been sacked this afternoon. A loss of 10 back to the 45.
Well, Jason Babin, he's kind of a tweener. He's between a linebacker and a rush end, and he just beats Tarek Glenn around the edge. And Jason Babin has gotten upfield quite a bit today and forced Peyton Manning to have to step up in the pocket.
Babin has played linebacker last couple seasons. They move him to defensive end, where he played in college at Western Michigan. 3rd and 14 from the 45. Indianapolis, as you might expect, has passed on every 3rd down today. Typical defense the entire game, really, for the Colts, or rather for the Texans. It's Manning, incomplete. Looking for Harrison. The coverage on the play was applied by Glenn Earl. This will be the first punt by the Colts this afternoon. How about that? And Hunter Smith will take care of that. He is a product of Sherman, Texas. He was a high school quarterback, then went to Notre Dame and has made a great career in the NFL. Now his 8th season as a punter. Deep back is Edel Shepard. Fort Worth native Justin Snow will snap it. This is going to have great spin on it and could be kept out of the end zone. When he dropped the ball, he dropped it nose first on his foot.
A couple other punters are doing that, trying to put some backspin on those punts.
Colts just punted for the first time this afternoon and went in the end zone, so it's a touchback to the 20 where David Carr will take it 1st and 10. Ron Dane grabbed by Cato June, who makes the grab. June was a Pro Bowl starter a season ago. It's a gain of 5. It's out to the 25-yard line.
Now, if you're this Texans offense, disregard the score. Just try and get something going. Try and work on something that can help build this football team for the rest of the season.
2nd down and 5 from the 25. Carr going deep and caught by Andre Johnson in front of Jason David. The gain is to the 42, 43-yard line. It's an 18-yard gain. The Texans' first down since about 3 minutes left in the second quarter.
This is just an example. When you give David Carr some protection around him, he can make all the throws. And that's what Gary Kubiak told us. And he just hasn't had that luxury in his first 4 years with the Texans.
Ephraim Salaam playing the left tackle. Charles Spencer taken to the hospital. X-rays negative. He is out. 1st and 10 for Carr. Brock was in his grill. This is off to Cook. Grabbed by Giordano. He brings him down. 42-yard line. A catch and run of 15 yards. And a 1st down. Fred Weary has now come in on the offensive line for the Texans, and he's playing right guard.
And they're having a lot more success with this no-huddle package. And what will happen is Gary Kubiak will still call the plays into David Carr's headset, and he'll just call it the line of scrimmage.
Weary's actually playing left guard. It is 1st down. And the move by Dane, the tackle by Bo Schobel. And there's a Flanagan. He is down for the Texans at the 41. That's where the gain was, to the 41-yard line.
And this is unfortunate that the Texans can ill afford to lose any more of their guys up front. And it's just devastating. It's devastating to a group that's thin to begin with.
So they've also lost, now it looks like maybe their center. Flanagan is injured. Timeout taken. Mike Flanagan, the ex-Packer and a Pro Bowl starter back in '03, is hobbled off the field. Taking his place will be Steve McKinney, who missed a lot of preseason with the groin. Moments ago, he and Carr were exchanging snaps.
Then you move your right guard to center, who hasn't had any reps all week at that position.
41-yard line, 2nd and 9, broken up by Jason David. Flag is thrown. Pass intended for Eric Moulds.
And it just goes to show you how dire the situation is with this offensive line. The only saving grace for David Carr is that McKinney did play center last year for the Texans, but they shuffled that whole offensive line around since Flanagan came over from the Packers.
Prior to the pass, Eagle used the hands to the face. 42, the defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
It's Jason David, a starter since his rookie year. He's out of Washington State. So they've got Weary playing now at right guard. They've got Wiegert at right tackle. Chester Pitts is back in as the left guard. Salaam is playing left tackle, and McKinney is playing center. They've lost 2 starting offensive linemen today. 1st down, 36 for Carr. Ron Dane out of Wisconsin. and brought down by Gilbert Gardner, who's taken the place of David Thornton, who left as a free agent.
Gary Kubiak told us yesterday we need these type of challenges to help us get better, but I don't know that he is expected to come into this situation and have all these injuries. This just makes it even more difficult for an offense that's already struggled much of the day. 2nd and 7 after that gain of 3 to the 33, and that's dropped by Andre Johnson, covered by Jason David. The difference, there's such a small window and such a fine line between a completion and an incompletion. I mean, just hitting him on the wrong shoulder, just not getting that ball in the front. And the other thing that could have helped in that situation is just having Andre Johnson extend his hands and catch the ball with his hands extended. And that doesn't allow that defender to get his hand in there and knock that one out.
Schobel is the only non-starter on the defensive line on a 3rd and 7. Here comes Schobel, and there goes Carr, and he's got his tight end. That's Daniels, the rookie, touchdown. Owen Daniels with his first touchdown reception, a 33-yard strike from David Carr.
Again, you give David Carr time. We talked about it. He can make all the throws. Kubiak told us that. And he's looking to his left. He looks off the safety. This is a great throw to the tight end, Owen Daniels. And they're excited about him. You know, the 4th round pick, they really feel like he has a chance to be a special player in this league.
Began as a college quarterback. They changed Daniels to a tight end his sophomore year. Played under Barry Alvarez at Wisconsin. 4th round pick and a starter as a rookie in a very veteran position with Putzier and Bruner. That's the longest play today by the Texans. Brown's extra point is up and in. And David Carr today, 14 of 18, 139. And he connects with his tight end Daniels on his first career touchdown reception. The tight end Owen Daniels just made his first career touchdown reception, the first touchdown reception by a Texans tight end in the last 23 games. Brown will kick it off, and Wilkins will take it right at the goal line for the Indianapolis Colts. Evans hit him in there along with Simmons. Jason Simmons. The gain is out to the 24, a 24-yard return. And the 6-time Pro Bowler Peyton Manning takes his offense back out onto the field. Back at the Dome in Indianapolis with Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan. Dwight Freeney is walking to the locker room to our right, and we weren't sure if he got whacked on the last play or not. He was in there and playing, but now he is out. And you can see that. We'll try to get an update on that. The Texans have lost 2 offensive linemen. I want to update one thing on Spencer. He has gone to the hospital for x-rays. The results were not found out. Initially, the report came from the sideline. They were negative. That is not the case. They don't know yet what the results were. The Texans today have played 2 linebackers. They have played 5 defensive backs, Cleon the 5th. They take on Manning right now at the 24, 1st and 10. Manning has thrown 3 touchdown passes. Addai. And brought down on the play by Thomas Johnson out of Middle Tennessee State after a gain of 4 to the 27. Mario Williams today the #1 overall pick on the line for the Texans.
Well, he's been under a lot of scrutiny, obviously, because of his draft status and his position. But the thing I like about him is his energy. You know, he hasn't given up, and things haven't happened for him immediately. But he shows good poise and good presence. He keeps working, and it's a process for him. He's learning to become a pro.
2nd down and 6, Manning. Harrison. Good move by Babbitt. Being chased by Payne. Being chased out of bounds by Lewis Sanders. And he picks up on the play, 17 yards. Harrison today has been spectacular. 7 catches and over 120 yards on the afternoon.
Yeah, just a little under route, and he just bobs and weaves across the field. And the thing that he does, you never get a good shot on Marvin Harrison. He understands where the defenders are coming from. He gets out of bounds when he has to, and he really protects his body.
Thomas Johnson on that line. And Babbitt is on the defensive end, 2 non-starters. We've got Kane and Mario Williams. They remain starters on the defensive line for the Texans. Utek, by the way, has come back in the game. This is Addai. And he is brought down by Seth Payne chasing them from behind. Picks up 7 to the 47-yard line.
And we talked a lot about the sacks. Well, this dynamic duos. Look at this crew, Manning and Marvin Harrison, and what they've accomplished. And I really think it has a lot to do with their work ethic and the amount of time they've put into it, the amount of time that they have invested in this operation. Those two guys are both special future Hall of Fame players.
2nd down and 3 from the 47. Addai again. This time he is brought down by Glenn Earl, who's battled knee and shoulder injuries in his very short career with the Texans. You know, Manning, he was so interesting in talking about how he tries to improve. At camp, they actually were filming his eyes and his head movement.
Yeah, he actually had a camera set up on the sidelines because he really wanted to see on certain routes and certain cuts whether or not he was staring receivers down and whether he was doing a good enough job at holding safeties and trying freezing the underneath linebackers. Just goes to show you the attention to detail with Peyton Manning is amazing.
It is a 1st and 10 from the 41. Manning going deep and looking for Wayne. What a catch! He beats Lewis Sanders. He's at the 4-yard line. A 37-yard strike.
Well, it was just a matter of time before Peyton Manning found Reggie Wayne. Sanders is actually in a pretty good position. He just can't locate the ball. Peyton does a good job of giving Reggie Wayne a chance there on the sidelines.
Reggie Wayne, leading receiver, the kid from New Orleans. 5 catches and 108 yards on the afternoon, and he does have a touchdown reception. 1st and goal. Ooh, they jumped. Was Thomas Johnson.
Encroachment, number 99 in the defense. Have to get the field goal. Still 1st down.
Kevin, one of the things we haven't talked about is the job this offensive line has done today for the Colts. And you know, we talked so much about what the Texans have done, giving up the sacks. This offensive line has given up 140 sacks in 113 games. That's #1 in the NFL. When you consider the amount of times that they throw the ball, that's really impressive.
1st and goal at the 2. A long completion of 37 yards to Wayne has given them this great field position. Rhodes slicing in for the touchdown.
Kevin, remember, this is the same offensive line that helped Edgerrin James win 2 rushing titles. And they don't get enough credit for the job they do up front, pushing people back and opening up holes. That's an experienced veteran offensive line, and that's really the difference between these 2 football teams right now. The Colts have an offensive line that have played together. The Texans are still scrambling around to try and put one together.
Vinatieri, we were told, has strained his groin, but you can see he is out there with the extra point. But that's something to kind of keep an eye on. Vinatieri also had some injuries with his ankle. As you take a look at Peyton Manning, and there is Vinatieri. You can see he is not walking with a great deal of regularity. He had sprained a ligament and chipped a bone in his left or his plant foot. This is before the season, and certainly after his 5-year, $12 million contract that he had signed with this team from the New England Patriots. And of course, he is known as one of the great kickers in the history of the NFL. Among his most memorable, the Snow Bowl, kicks of 45 and 23 as they beat the Raiders in OT. The Super Bowl 36, 48-yard, the game winner against St. Louis in a win over the Rams. And again in Super Bowl 38 against Carolina, hit the 41-yard field goal for the win as the Patriots beat the Panthers.
Yeah, unfortunately, Kevin, I was on the other side of some of those kicks. He's just a clutch kicker. And the thing that was interesting, when we talked to Peyton Manning yesterday, he said during the Giants game, he went over the sidelines inside the 4-minute drill, and he said, "Where do you want the ball?" to Vinatieri, in the right hash or left? He said, "I don't care. Just get it down as close as you can." He said, Peyton Manning said, "I wasn't used to that. You know, we always had to be on the left hash for this kicker in this particular situation." Vinatieri said, "I don't care. Just get me close so I can kick the winner."
And you can see Hunter Smith is going to kick off. And this has been an issue with this team for a long time. So from the Colts standpoint, they hope that it's not serious with Vinatieri. This is picked up by Mark Bruner, the tight end, who hits the deck, and Bob Sanders hits him at about the 33-yard line. Well, let's go back to the top of our broadcast, and here are some of the things you were keying in on.
Well, the Texans didn't get it done here. They didn't hold them to the field goals like we talked about. From the Colts, on the other hand, they have picked up their production in the running game, 98 yards. They're on their way. And defensively, they've really buttoned down. They've done a better job cleaning things up and playing better team defense against the run.
Keith O'Neill, Rocky Boyman, and Rob Morris are the 3 new linebackers for the Colts. On the line, they've got Mathis and Brock, Reed and Schobel. Gatto in the backfield for Carr with the 1st and 10. And it's outside for Jameel Cook, who's brought down by O'Neill, whose dad played in the NFL. And a flag is down at the 26 on that gain of 4 as it stands now at the 36-yard line.
Personal foul. Pass correction. Roughing the passer. Number 64 of the defense. Grabbed the quarterback around the head and drove it into the ground. That's a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, you talk about making a good first impression, and Bo Schobel just got signed yesterday, and he comes in here late and tries to take David Carr's head off, and that's just a poor decision. And again, we're trying to make a good impression with an organization. You want to play smart, and those type of decisions just absolutely kill a defense.
So it is a 1st and 10 from the 49-yard line. Outside for Cook. Pitts out there trying to offer a block, but O'Neill brings him down after a gain of 4 to the 46. Thing about Carr, knowing where his protection is and knowing where the pressure is coming from. I mean, that is a long process for a quarterback, isn't it?
You're right, Kevin. It doesn't happen overnight. You think about it. He's in a new system, and he's trying to learn to process information. You can't walk to the line of scrimmage in the National Football League and be thinking about who's doing what, who's blocking who. That has to be second nature to you, like it is for Peyton Manning. And I don't think David Carr is quite there yet. He doesn't have enough reps in this system. 2nd
down and 7. Gatto remains. Carr to Moles, only his 2nd catch. Rocky Boyman, the ex-Tennessee Titan and Detroit Lion, will bring him down at about the 37. It's a gain of 9. The revamped line, the left tackle is out with an injury. The starting center is out with an injury for the Titans.
Yeah, and they just keep rolling along. If you're David Carr, you can't be concerned by that. But the good news for him is that Gary Kubiak has worked with some good quarterbacks over the years. You think about his time with Elway, with Steve Young, even Jake Plummer. Jake Plummer was a project, and so I really think that he's with the right guy, and if anyone can help David Carr get to the next level, it's Gary Kubiak.
36-yard line, 1st and 10. Sam Gatto busting free, and the Packers' leading rusher a season ago sprints his way to the 9. A rotating 27-yard gain. 1st and goal for the Texans as Marlon Jackson is down.
Well, you know, Mike Sherman, who's an assistant coach with the Texans, knew all about Sam Gatto, and he was excited to bring him over. He thinks Sam has a bright future in the league. He's a young guy that runs real hard. He's a smart guy. He understands the system, and it's a question of him just getting comfortable as quickly as he possibly can.
Gatto, as we mentioned before, is a native of Nigeria, and he wears number 35 to salute his idol when growing up, Christian Okoye, also from Lagos, Nigeria. The former Kansas City Chief, consecutive 1,000-yard rusher, but that was the guy that he concentrated on. And Gatto, who has far bigger plans than just the NFL. He's been working as an intern during the offseason in hospitals, and his goal is to become a doctor and go back to Nigeria and work for a hospital over there and help the people where he grew up, family, friends, and of course the natives from that area.
Well, he's a well-rounded player, and that's how you want to build your organizations, with quality people that have great character, great toughness, great desire, and that's the task for the Texans. They're trying to build an organization, a winning organization, much like the Colts have done.
So Jackson out of Michigan gets up to his own power, and looks like it was a collision with his teammate Bob Sanders, which got Marlon Jackson tied up.
And we're seeing a bunch of these injuries today that are being caused by their own teammates, and that's unfortunate. But it's a volatile game, and guys flying around trying to make plays, and sometimes just get caught in awkward situations.
1st and goal at the 9. Lundy is back in. Cook is the fullback, and here comes Carr. you can see him on the move and shoved out of bounds by Rocky Boyman. I wish you could have seen Rich Gannon up here. You kept motioning and motioning.
Well, I wanted him to make his decision earlier. You know, he came out of just a great fake, and the backside end Schobel, he gets sucked down, and there's no one out there. Just make your decision earlier and run, and now dive and extend for that end zone. And it just seemed like he was waiting for a receiver to come open. I really felt he could have made a quicker decision with the football there.
There's a gain of 8, so it's second and goal at the 1.
Remember, Kevin, he was the second leading rusher for quarterbacks in the National Football last year, only behind Michael Vick.
Carr again, wide open Bruner. That is a touchdown reception. And his last touchdown catch was in 2003. The ex-Steeler, Mark Bruner, and only his 9th catch in the last 3 years. And he comes up with a touchdown reception as Carr throws his second touchdown pass of the day.
Well, both these teams live off the play action, and you watch the linebackers, they're just running upfield, and no one even looks up. Bruner, the tight end, just crossing the field.
Here's Chris Brown with his extra point. 5:12 to play in the 4th. That makes it a 20-point game. 37-17. With David Carr throwing a couple touchdowns today, and Carr 18 of 22. Coming up, the Patriots take on the Jets. The Chiefs will battle the Broncos, or the Titans tangle with the Chargers. Check local listings right here on the home of Super Bowl 41, CBS Sports. Peyton Manning does not want to be taken out. As you can see him limbering up on the sideline. He says when he's on the side, he's always watching the Jumbotron. He's always kind of talking with his receivers on the bench, but doesn't stand up and watch the game from the sideline. He's always watching the scoreboard and keeping track of the game that way, especially last week when he took on his younger brother Eli of the New York Giants.
Yeah, that was quite the spectacle. We talked to him yesterday. He was just happy to have that behind him and just move on with the regular season. Almost felt like it was a distraction for him. So much was made of the rivalry between the two, but he's just happy they won and were able to move on and get on with the rest of their season.
Yeah, they called it the Manning Bowl, and of course it lived up to the hype. It was a 26-21 game. Both Peyton and Eli played well in the contest. As Manning hit Dallas Clark on a touchdown pass, his tight end, and then Eli got his tight end, Jeremy Shockey, on that, but it came down to a Vinatieri field goal. In fact, field goals that were the difference. Vinatieri knocked in 4 last week. And Wilkins on the ensuing kickoff after the Carr touchdown pass to Bruner takes it out to the 25 and brought down on the play by Deshaun Polk on a 25-yard return. Manning returns. 5:06 to play in the game, leading by 20 points.
And if there's one common thread between Eli and Peyton, the game's important to them. They grew up around it, going to watch their dad play, and they prepare as well as any 2 quarterbacks in the National Football League. And we asked Peyton about his preparation, the Tuesdays being the players' day off. He comes in and he downloads his personal computer and takes the Avid system home with him so that he can watch film in his own film room at his house. And he's just different than most quarterbacks, and the reason he's so different, he puts all the time, effort in his preparation, and it shows in his performance.
From the 25, it is 1st and 10. Addai is in the backfield. And with the lead block by Dean Scott, the tackle on the far side made by Thomas Johnson, it's a gain of 4, and he's out to the 28. Now, this may seem to be inconsequential to the fans and maybe our TV audience, but for Peyton Manning, there is no inconsequential offensive play.
No, he takes. They're all important to him, and that's his big philosophy, his theory. He doesn't want to waste any plays, and he says, hey, they're not all going to be perfect. I just don't want to call a bad play that has absolutely no chance.
2nd down and 7 from the 28. Mario Williams is in, along with Babin and Weaver. Handoff to Addai. Tackle, there's a flag thrown as Ryans makes the stop, 35-yard line on a gain of 6.
Tripping, number 92 of the defense. That's a 10-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
That's Anthony Weaver. He played the 3-4 scheme at Baltimore, now is in a 4-man front with the Houston Texans.
You know, one of Tom Moore's greatest strengths, the offensive coordinator, really, in my opinion, is his lack of ego. You know, he doesn't care who calls the plays all the time. He just wants what's best for this football team. And I got a real kick out of Tony Dungy. He told Peyton, when in doubt, throw it. You know, most coaches say run it, but he has such confidence in Peyton. He said, just throw it. You're the best player in the league.
45-yard line, 1st and 10. Addai by Weaver. Brought down by Thomas Johnson on the line. Last season, Johnson played a couple games with the Dallas Cowboys. Out to the 50, gain of 5.
Well, they found a way to get Joseph Addai comfortable and get him some touches, and he's really made the most of every opportunity. And the thing that really jumped out at me was how powerful a runner he is. And when he gets that ball in his hands, he puts his head down, he just tries to get in that end zone, and that's impressive to see from a young back.
2nd down, 5 from the 50. Some movement. Mario Williams over there may have jumped a little bit. It's interesting because
Number 90, 5-yard penalty. The result will be a first
Williams
down.
plays on the defensive line. And when asked, you know, who are some of your idols, like Reggie White, the great defensive lineman for the Eagles and the Packers, he said, no, my idols were Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders. He wanted to play running back when growing up, and as a senior, he actually did in high school. He gained 10 yards a carry. And he said, you're too big for running.
Yeah, he doesn't have that body for a running back. Maybe a tight end, but not a running back.
It is a first down on the penalty against Williams to the 45. And Addai. Brought down by Moreland Greenwood, the ex-Miami Dolphin, on a gain of 6 to the 39.
And one of the things that Mario Williams, we talked a little bit about him playing high, and he has to play lower. The other thing he has to realize is this. The tackles, the offensive tackles in the National Football League are paid a lot of money. They're paid a lot of money to protect the quarterback. They're great athletes. Usually the open side tackle is the best athlete, and they use their hands and their feet so well. And what he's going to find out early in his career, it's not as easy to get sacks in the National Football League as it was at NC State. You have to develop and refine your skills. That takes time, and he's learning to really become a professional.
3rd team All-America, 1st defensive end, chosen number 1 overall since Courtney Brown was taken out of Penn State back in the 2000 draft. Charlie Casserly was around for that draft, but I think people around that organization will tell you, with Rick Smith is the new GM, that Gary Kubiak is really calling the shots in personnel moves, and I don't know that Dom Capers necessarily had that power, the predecessor.
Yeah, and they had a lot of issues. It wasn't just one need, and they really felt like Mario Williams was the best choice available for them, and they want to build their defense around that player.
After the Houston timeout, 2nd down 4, Rand Carthon. That name should ring a bell. Dante Robinson makes the stop. Leap to the 36, close to a first down, a pickup of 3. Carthon's dad, of course, Maurice, running back in the National Football League with the Giants. He's now the Cleveland Browns offensive coordinator, and Rand has had some time in the past as a reserve running back with these Colts a season ago. He was signed last week. 3rd down and 2 from the 37. Back of the ball's touching the 37. That's officially where it is. Good block by Dean. Here comes Williams, and Manning close to a first down. He got it. He got the first down, running after a gain of 3 to the 34.
He's showing some scoots, Peyton Manning is. And he's not known as the runner, but when you get him out on the edge, he shows some athleticism.
Flag is down. And a late flag at that.
Holding defense number 23. That 5-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Dante Robinson.
I'm looking at Peyton Manning's demeanor. His score is 37-17. He's thrown for a bunch of touchdowns, a bunch of yards. He just never seems quite satisfied. He's always wanting more. He's always. I know that interception that he threw on the short yardage play that got called back, and it's going to absolutely kill him. He's always looking for the perfect game.
Always feels he doesn't prepare enough for a game.
Yeah, he works so hard at it. He always feels like he's behind as the week progresses.
So it is a first down. Carthon, and he is wrapped up nicely on the line by Travis Johnson. A loss on the play of a yard. And back to about the yard line. Colts on the ground, 124 yards today. And a timeout has been taken by Houston. That's one. Well, we talked about how Manning doesn't think there's any inconsequential snap. And then obviously for the Houston Texans, they're still trying to get their shorts on straight. And they feel like they've got to, not waste any play, offensive or defensive.
Well, Gary Kubiak said that every time we go out, part of our foundation is being laid. And we have to build. And this is an experience that have to somehow find a way to build upon it. To go on the road in a tough environment, and find a way to compete and build your football team. It's going to be a progress. It's a work in progress. You have to put a couple drafts together and some free agencies and really get the kind of players that he really feels like can help him on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, fit into their system.
Mario Williams is now out. N.D. Kalu, the ex-Eagle, is in. 10 years out of Rice. Started 8 games last year for the Eagles. Here comes Manning on 2nd and 11, and he's got Wayne with the coverage on the play by Lewis Sanders. It's a 28-yard gain. Earlier, he caught a 37-yard pass right in that same area.
Well, they love the matchup, but the impressive thing here is watch the throw. It's purposely thrown behind Wayne to his back shoulder. That is by design. When they're running side by side, Reggie Wayne knows, Peyton Manning knows, I'm going to throw it to your back shoulder, and you'll put your foot in the ground, wheel around and make that catch. That's by design.
This is the 10th possession for the Colts. Manning has thrown 3 touchdown passes already. It is 1st and goal. Carthon is in the backfield. Manning to Rand Carthon, who runs into the end zone. 3-yard touchdown run. The 2nd touchdown run today by the Indianapolis Colts. 2nd time they've scored in a row.
And this is always good for your football team when some of your second line guys can get in, can get some reps, and get some carries, and score some touchdowns. It makes the week go by that much faster. They enjoy each other. They can talk about it. And that's how you build your football team, when guys like Carthon can get in there and have some success.
Hunter Smith is going to kick because of the injury, as we told you about before, for Vinatieri. And it was blocked, as you can see. They got in there with the jump. It looked like maybe Seth Payne is the one who blocked it on that line for the Texans. And there's a look at Vinatieri. So he comes into the season, Vinatieri does, a little bit injured. And now he's to the point, and Tony Dungy is too. Well, let's not stretch him anymore. Let's finish his day.
And that's a little bit of a concern for me. The game's out of reach, but if they get into a game next week, a situation next week where they need a game-winning kick, you have to be concerned a little bit about where Vinatieri is health-wise.
Tony Dungy is a guy that we've not visited with a great deal about this Sunday afternoon. We talked with him at length on Friday, and he's got such a great command over this team, such a comfortable position to be in, with a very veteran crew, and certainly players that know what his routine is and what he likes to do.
Well, he walks quietly, but he carries a big stick, and the players respect, they admire, and they know what they have with Tony Dungy. And one of the biggest compliments, and the thing he was maybe most proud of, he said, in the last 5 years, we have only had one change to our coaching staff. That's the consistency.
Smith with the kick, and this is Shepard inside the 20-yard line. And O'Neal is there, and Rob Morris bring him down for the Indianapolis Colts near the 39-yard line, a 23-yard return.
And getting back to that, you talk about the lack of change on the Colts staff. And that's why this staff, this organization, is able to continue to build and add onto their packages, both offensively and defensively. On the flip side of it, for the Texans, they're just learning. They're just installing their game plans. And this is year 1 of that program. And again, it's going to take some time for the Texans.
Again, injuries to the left tackle and to the center Flanagan have made some moves necessary on the line. 1st and 10 Carr, Andre Johnson, and brought down after a gain of 9 by Kelvin Hayden, who's out of Illinois and playing in the secondary at the 48. 9-yard gain, 2nd down and 1. With we're just right before the 2-minute warning of the game. Carr has thrown a couple of touchdowns. That's bobbled and reeled in by Moles. And then he is brought down by a host of Colts, including Rocky Boyman, gain of 14. They mark the ball at the 38 as we have reached the 2-minute warning from Indy. Couple rushing touchdowns by the Colts. Peyton Manning has thrown 3 touchdown passes. Field goals, 3 by Vinatieri. Here's what the Houston Texans have coming up.
Well, it's always a challenge to get this team into a winning mindset. And that's something Kubiak talked about. Again, Washington, Miami, the bye. Just want to try and find a way to get a win. And that's what you have to do. You have a good experience, a positive experience, something you can build on, something you can build a foundation on. And that's really what they're trying to accomplish. And they'll get another opportunity again next week. That's the great thing about the National Football League.
So it is a first down at the Colt 39. Make it the 38. Texans have 1 timeout remaining. Here comes Schobel, and down goes Carr. Back at the 48. The 4th time Carr has been sacked today, coupled with the 5 sacks of last week. That's a loss of 9. And Carr has been sacked 9 times in the first 2 weekends of this 06 season. He was sacked 208 times in the previous 4 years, so he is not on a good track. 2nd and 19. Wally Lundy and Giordano along with Schobel bring him down. Gain of 9 to the 39-yard line. Here are the Colts' next 6 games.
Well, 2 of the next 3 at home, and the Colts always start the season well at home. They start the season fast in terms of 1 losses, but just the 1 road trip to the Jets, they should have some success there, but they always find a way to get out of the gate early.
3rd and 11. Here's a pass caught by Moulds. He gets away from Hayden, and now he is on the move as he takes a charge into Doss at the 10, and it's a gain, a catch and run of 29 yards for Eric Moulds.
Kevin, they're going to be better offensively this year. I really believe that. You know, Eric Moulds coming over, that's a player they've been surely missing to complement Andre Johnson. And then Owen Daniels, the rookie who caught the rookie tight end who caught the touchdown earlier. They need to get the running game going. That's the one thing, though, I concerned a little bit about with some young players back there. Lundy, Dane, Sam Conghetto. If they can get the running game going, this offense has a chance to make some noise and get better as the season progresses.
Dwight Freeney walked off the field and toward the locker room earlier in the game. We have not seen anything of him since that time. And we have not been told what the extent of what we suppose is an injury is. 1st and goal at the 10. Salam playing the left tackle. McKinney is playing the center. And Carr, great look off, and he finds Andre Johnson in the end zone for a 10-yard touchdown pass. Carr has thrown 3 touchdowns today.
Well, this is good to see from David Carr. He's going to pump to his right, and he just turns right back around, wheels around, and drills it to Andre Johnson. Again, the linebacker drops him, but what really set that up and really made that happen is David Carr with his pump fake to the right, froze the safety and allowed him to get it up and down to Johnson.
Brown's extra point is up and in. Carr has thrown 3 consecutive touchdown passes. Andre Johnson, who has been battling a calf injury since his Pro Bowl season of 04. That calf injury really cut into his 05 year. Has come on with a touchdown reception, and today has caught 4 passes. Coming next, Patriots take on the Jets. Chiefs battle the Broncos. Titans tangling with the Chargers. Check local listings right here on the home of Super Bowl 41, CBS Sports. 2-14 the Texans record a season ago. And I think they feel like they're beginning not only with Carr and reinventing him, but trying to almost reinvent the entire football team.
But the good thing is, and the thing that I'm impressed with, they showed some fight. They showed some resiliency. The game got away from them early, but they didn't give up. David Carr kept competing. They kept on putting drives together, and they came out with that no huddle, the up tempo, and tried to get something going. And they did. They put 3 consecutive scoring drives together. And that's a positive for this organization. It's a positive to take away. And hey, you go back, look at the film, make the corrections, and try and be better next week.
Carr on the day, 22 of 26. In the second half, David Carr, 13 of 14, 3 touchdown passes.
They're Peyton Manning-like numbers, and again, something to build on in the future.
Browns kickoff. Wilkins at about the 4-yard line for the Indianapolis Colts. Shante Orr makes the stop. Flag is down. Shante Orr is normally a starter in their 43 defense. But because today they've gone with the nickel the entire game, Orr has been knocked out and has not been playing, except for special teams.
Illegal block in the back. Number 26 of the return team. That's a 10-yard penalty. It'll be first down.
Hayden picked it up. So Orr watching the other two linebackers, and they're a 4-man front and 5 in the secondary. It's a pretty good hit right here by Orr. Oh.
You'd think with only 2 quarterbacks on the roster for the Colts, Jim Sorgi backing up Peyton Manning, that at some point you might get him in the game just to get him some reps, just to get him comfortable, just in case you'd have to use him at some point in the season. Didn't happen today.
Nope. Manning throws 3 touchdown passes. Rushing touchdowns, finishing off the Colts. Carr throws 3 touchdown passes. The Texans go to 0-2 for a 3rd consecutive season. The Indianapolis Colts go to 2-0. And since September of 2002, in the month of September, they are 13-2. Coming up, it's the Capital One update. Then we'll take you to New York for all the scores and highlights. For Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan, so long from Indianapolis, Indiana.